In one of my conversations, I was asked this question: why don't people like me? We're going to talk about that today. Hi, this is Jerry Edmon. I want to welcome you to this week's podcast. You know, this time with you is really such a great opportunity just to sit down and discuss ideas and solutions for a strong and successful life. And really, isn't that what you want? A strong and a successful life? Well, I believe that if you're succeeding, there's a reason you're succeeding. If you're failing, well, there's probably a reason that you're failing. And my hopes that are through this visit that you're going to be able to move to the next level of your life. And the reason is because you were designed to have a successful life. So let's talk about that. Have you ever wrestled with that thought? Why don't people like me? I mean, have you ever gone into a situation, it just seems like you start talking to someone and you're trying to break through and, you try to mix, you try to be available, you try all of the icebreakers that you found on the internet, just anything again and again, but it just seems like you're still on the outside looking in. I heard one time one person tell me, they said, it feels like I'm a little kid with my face pressed against the glass of this party that's going on the inside that I can't get into. And that's a horrible feeling. That's a horrible feeling. And so that, they just immediately start saying, well, what's wrong with me? Well, I guess it could be that you're unlikable, but however, let's just assume that's not the case here. Actually, when it comes to the situation of answering that question, why don't people like me? I'm not positive that you can answer that question. I mean, there are some people that you try to talk to and they don't like anyone. No one likes them and they don't like anyone. And really, you can't be responsible for what other people's actions occur and how they respond. But here's where we're going today. You may not be able to be responsible for what other people are doing, but you have to be responsible for you. You can't determine what someone else is going to do, but you can make the decision what you're going to do. Now, I'm concerned that when you feel like no one likes you, that immediately you throw up this big defensive wall to protect yourself, and we do that. I guess it's just instincts. But gosh, that's so bad. I'm telling you, it's so bad for you to do that because you take on this kind of offense and it's something that people can feel around you. You get very defensive and it becomes this, I always tell everybody, I said, first of all, offense becomes a stumbling block and then it becomes a tombstone. And really that's true because that offense, it just gets you to draw back and back and back until finally it just buries you. You got these walls up. But see, here's the problem with walls. The same walls that you put up to keep people out, they keep you in. If you put walls up because of how people do or don't respond to you, and as a result, it keeps you hiding in the closet almost. It's like, well, you walk into a room where people are, and immediately you just kind of recluse, to the back of the room, and it's horrible. And I want to just say that you got to resist that. You've got to resist being defensive because that closes doors. I mean, it does. It'll close doors to the good people as well as the bad people. It closes the doors to everybody. And you can't afford to have closed doors in your life. Every person is a door. I don't care how insignificant they are. They are all important to your future. They may seem insignificant. They may seem small. This is why it's really important for you to be nice to people, because each connection with you is actually a connection to a whole group of people. In other words, that one person is a connection to a whole group of people that you don't know yet. And so that person becomes a doorway into your future. So you can't put walls up, man. I'm just telling you, you can't put walls up. It will destroy your future. You can't be defensive. If you get your feelings hurt, well, I just want to say I'm sorry, but sometimes you have to deal with getting your feelings hurt. I mean, you just do. You're going to get your feelings hurt. And so, well, that's just, I don't know how else to say it. You're going to get your feelings hurt. And they may have had a bad day themselves, and they may be defensive because of how they've been mishandled. So don't take it to heart when people respond in a negative way toward you, because it may not be them. What I try to do when I'm facing that, I say, is the problem in them or is the problem in me? And that's what I want to ask you right now. You say people don't like you. Is it possible that you're the problem? I mean, I believe we have to be lovingly honest with other people, but brutally honest with ourselves. And so what you need to do here is just do a little critique. And I think that critique is really important at this time. Learn to take a little criticism. See, criticism isn't necessarily bad. My father told me something many years ago. He said, always be open to constructive criticism. Otherwise, you'll never have an opportunity to change. Now, not destructive criticism. Destructive criticism basically says, I don't like you, there ain't nothing you can do about it, and, whatever. That's destructive. But constructive criticism, I mean, we need that in our life. Everybody should fall under the lens of criticism if it's constructive. I mean, some companies even pay for it. In this day and time, we call it coaching. We want somebody to come in and tell us when we are speaking something wrong. That's constructive criticism. And what I try to do is I try to handle criticism or maybe being dismissed by asking this question: what is it about me that needs to be adjusted or needs to be changed? How do I handle it? How I handle it determines the work that it does in me. If I handle it in a negative way, if I handle it with walls up, well, it just becomes destructive and it closes me in and shuts off my life. But if I handle it in a constructive way, in a positive way, it gives me an opportunity to genuinely make some changes for the better. So I try to handle that question like this. There's about 5 things that I want to share with you right now, okay? Number 1, always find honest feedback from a friend. There's got to be somebody in your life that you can go to and say, do my clothes look funny? Is my breath bad? Is there something? Do I come on too strong? Because sometimes people in their zeal to be accepted, they can come on strong and they throw everybody else kind of in a defensive mode. Ask somebody, do I come on too strong? Is my handshake goofy? Is my approach with people, is it right? So find somebody honest. That's number 1. Find a friend, somebody that you can have a real honest to goodness conversation with. Now, number 2, if criticism comes to me, how do I handle it? Well, here's the way I handle it. And this is something that even if I believe it's not true, if someone says something to me and I say that's simply not true, I try to at least ask myself this: is it possible that it might be true in some small way that person would have thought that about me? See, maybe they're seeing something that I don't see. And so that's where I'm trying to be brutally honest with myself. Is it possible that what they're saying is right? I mean, I'm not saying necessarily I'm a bad person, but is it possible that whatever they're seeing something I don't see? Because sometimes we don't see ourselves as we really are. We really don't. I had the craziest thing happen to me back a few weeks ago, and it was really awakening. I look at myself in the mirror every day, obviously. When I get ready, I comb my hair, I brush my teeth, I do all those things. But I was walking in a store, and they had a video camera there with, you could see the television, the video camera as you're walking in. And when I walked in, I thought, oh my God. I mean, it was like I saw myself in a different light. I had no idea. I mean, it was like I was seeing a different person. So what I'm saying is sometimes you're so used to seeing yourself that you don't see yourself. You kind of have this thing going on. So that would be number 2. At least ask yourself, is it possible that it's true? Number 3, and I mentioned this just a second ago, don't be defensive. Look, you got to have a thick hide and a short memory if you're going to make it in life. try not to be defensive. Shake it off. Give someone the benefit of the doubt that just maybe they've had a bad day, or just maybe this is just a weird twist somehow. Okay? Now, let's go to number 4. Number 4, check your conversation skills. Just listen to me for just a second. So if people are not responding to you like you would like, it might be you. If not your breath or something like that, maybe it's something else. It might be that they don't like you, but maybe it's just that you came across in such a way that you put them in a defensive mode. I've heard people say, well, I'm just an aggressive person. I've heard other people say, well, I'm just Irish. That's the reason No, wait a minute. Come on. All of that is excuses. That's all that is. And you need to see how you're coming across, because sometimes that can be misinterpreted to make you look some way that you really don't look. All right. Number 5, and this is really important. Be willing to make the changes, even if you believe you're not wrong. I tell people, I said, pride is the only thing that can be offended. And some people just walk around so offended because they're so full of pride. I'm telling you, don't be stubborn about it. Come on, don't be stubborn. Don't put a wall up. Well, I don't even believe I'm wrong. Yeah, but for the sake of the relationship, for the sake of breaking through to that person, am I willing to just maybe concede? I'm telling you, if you'll do those things, it'll make a difference. You can always try to prove your point. There was the old saying, do you want to be right or you want to be married? Well, sometimes it isn't so important to prove you're right. So let go of pride. Stop trying to prove your point. Don't, how can I say this? Don't deceive yourself with the thought, I just don't care what people think. How many times have you talked to people like that? And they'll make some statement. They'll say, well, I just don't care what people think. I don't care if they like me. Well, really, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true of you, or you wouldn't be listening to me right now. You do care what people think, and that's what makes you a better person. You do care what people think. And friends are important to you. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, he that has friends, let him show himself friendly. So what that scripture basically says is, having friends is connected to being friendly. Try that. Just try being friendly. You may say, well, I don't know how to be friendly. Well, you can get in front of a mirror and you can practice approaching people. I know that might sound goofy to you, but just see how you look. Just take a look at yourself. Practice on people. I mean, if you want a strong and a successful life, you're going to have to figure this out, because it starts with you. It doesn't start with anyone else. You can't be responsible for them, but you can be responsible for you. And you've got to get this thing figured out. If you want a strong and successful life, you have to do this. So make the decision today. Try today going up to people and maybe that you don't know, and just come on, just throw your charm out there a little bit. I know you've got charm. Come on, put it out there. Give it a shot and really just try for just a moment to be friendly to somebody. Maybe it's the clerk at the store. Maybe it's the guy bagging your groceries, whatever. Just have the conversation and practice being friendly. Allow yourself to light up the room when you walk in, because I'm telling you, you can make a tremendous difference. So why don't people like you? I don't know. Can't always fix that, but you can fix you, and you can see to it that you like everybody that you know. All right? Hey, this has been awesome today. I'm looking forward to next time when we get together. I'll talk to you then. This is Jerry Edmon. God bless you.